and the Cloud yesterday. The Roy, a new addition for today. But SEBA probably one of the, yeah, just rotate characters, then go for it, right? Cloud, definitely a solid choice, though, against Shadic here, against the Corrin.
It's like I'm watching Smash 4 again.
Yeah, back in the day. The DLC powers are coming out.
Like it's like show this to somebody 2 years ago, and it's like, oh, Cosmos versus Tweak, yeah, of course, yeah.
Totally normal.
But yeah, I think that out of all the characters that we've seen from SEBA, Cloud's one of the wisest choices. I feel like because you're one of the few characters that can actually challenge Corrin's range as far as disjoints go, and you don't have to resort to laggy projectiles and opening yourself up in that kind of way.
Now, if it doesn't go well, I wouldn't mind seeing the Falcon. I think Falcon Corrin's a really fun, interesting matchup. But the Cloud's definitely a solid place to start. Having that big back air to kind of challenge Corrin's big back air. Not quite self-spacing, but you know, it'll get the job done sometimes.
It's certainly just as safe.
Yeah. There you go. It is still the ledge trapping aerial. Gonna see if we can make him happen to the border.
Oh my goodness!
Punishing a whiff on the aerial pin coming down with a forward smash. That's 100 if I've ever seen one.
It's not often that you'll see a Cloud go for a big forward smash like that, but he was so confident that you were going to see that fade-in aerial from Shadic, and he just threw it out there. But Shadic's just been, you know, slow and steady as it goes so far. Evened it back up, but Cloud's early game damage output, it wasn't quite so much back in Smash 4, but in this game, boy, that back air into cross slash and then just one more and you're at 50.
Yeah, any combination into cross slash is insane, and a low percent has got plenty of moves that'll just knock you up just a little bit, so that you're stuck in one of those awkward situations. Great parry, but still stuck on his platform.
Name something more useless than parrying Cloud's forwarder.
Ugh.
I can't. I feel like no matter how I play her on that move, I'm like, well, if it's already out, he got away with it.
It is too late for you.
Yeah.
Wait for your turn again later.
Interesting to see that SEBA has gone for these limit moves, you know, very quickly when he gets it. He doesn't want to try and hold on to it, take advantage of that movement speed, and I guess he doesn't need it in this matchup, right? He doesn't need the buff to his statistics. He just would rather have the hard-hitting moves. And having Shadic at 135 right now, it would be nice to have it at this moment, but he kept him in the corner by utilizing that, throwing it out, and saying, stay over there. Don't try and come to me.
And honestly, still having access to regular cross slash for extra damage is just nice. And not necessarily needing it right now, but you know, getting real close to that extra limit coming through. Ooh, just another up smash. So who needs limit when you can swing it like that?
I mean, literally just, hey, if Shadic's going to keep trying to get his combo started by jumping at me, throwing out these neutral airs, forward airs, even the pins, hey, I mean, might as well throw one of those puppies out and see if it works. And Sword's big enough to do the job, and, you know, about a half a stock lead on Shadic at the moment. As long as he can get back on stage, he's got a lot of room to play with, but Shadic's edge guarding.
And, you know, you were talking about how useless it feels sometimes to even parry that forward air, but that combo almost started because of a parried forward air into a down tilt, set up, eventually it'll back and get him off stage and get that pin. Great on Shadic's part to punish so what sometimes seems like the unpunished.
I think what we've learned is that Shadic is just better at this game than I am.
He is built different.
He is simply built different. Well, there's another one of those forward airs. Waited a little bit to try and get the spike, but that meant that a back air was able to meet SEBA off stage, and he air dodges right into the bite. I'm amazed he's still alive.
He does have to burn the limit to get through. We saw that set up so many times with forward smash after rolling to the ledge. Doesn't catch SEBA this time. Does have to recover. Is able to get back to the stage. A little bit of that pressure alleviated now, going back to that clean neutral, but both players now at last hit, last stop.
Dude, I need some Aleve myself. I feel like my bones are about to break from how these guys just have not taken a second to step off the gas pedal, and that is how it's going to end with that Dragon Fang shot. These two just wanted to press buttons. They just wanted to play Smash Brother.
Who can blame them, right? That's what I want to do is hold forward, press buttons, have a good time.
But the precision in which they were able to do it with is what's so shocking to me in that case, that neither one of them wavered from their confidence and said, I need to take a second to calm down and kind of get a mental reset here. They just still sat there and said, I'm confident that my inputs will be solid. I will go where I need to go, and I can fight. That is exactly the kind of moment that gives me anxiety. But after the fact, I'm like, that was pretty awesome to see.
Definitely nice to see. There was a little bit greedy of SEBA to go off like that against Corrin. Sometimes it's so tantalizing to try to punish that character's recovery, but man, is it brutal when you mess it up and you get flung off stage and you have to recover against the Dragon Fang shot, against the pin. And Shadic really showed the sour side of it all. Getting rid of FD, getting rid of Kalos totally makes sense to me as Corrin. They're some of your least favorite stages because you do not have the movement speed to cover that ground.
Yeah, and stages like those, that's kind of what you were talking about earlier, right? If you don't have the in-game statistics, those inherent values, you're not going to be able to catch up to somebody, and they can dictate when or when you do not get to play the game. When you do or do not. When or when does not make any sense. But regardless of that, you know, kind of what you're saying, right, is that I think that you do have to have at least some platforms, at least some illusion of a smaller space, and platforms oftentimes can offer that. Even though they do give you more maneuverability, there are also places where you can get hung up and stopped, and on aerial combos, the extensions are also nothing to laugh at.
And going back to Pokemon Stadium 2, just running it right back, but this time with the Roy instead of with the Cloud. SEBA bringing out a different character, not one that I was really excited to see the Falcon, but maybe Roy is the choice. Roy's still a phenomenal character, definitely one that can step for in this game.
I think that the offense is going to be something that, you know, like I was talking about at the end of that last game, you're going to have to be confident as a Roy in this matchup, because any half-hearted approach is going to get absolutely torn apart by Corrin, because that sword is so large and almost anything sets up for a combo. But if you are not keeping track of yourself and your inputs, like I'm saying, that will happen.
Just the baby little tap, I think. Maybe not aware that there was no jump there. And Shadic's is going to take that first stock, and now we're seeing the downward angle double-edged
30%.
This is definitely a solid start for SEBA, and continuing.
Yeah, that's like just a couple times that he hit Shadic there already at 60%. Just got to be very careful. See, SEBA knows now that he has to be very careful about that pin to edgeguard. He tossed the Corrin off stage right there. He waited for an air dodge, but it was a fastball from Shadic that got him around any potential looming forward smash. So Shadic's able to hang on to the stock just barely.
There we go. Going for the forward air to air. Catch him at the platform. Meet him halfway. SEBA just moving around, forcing an aggressive option out of Shadic, just out of range of the pin kick, and now 3 stocks to 1. High percent, but still climbing on Shadic.
I was thinking about how, you know, SEBA can't go way too hard because, well, he does have to go hard, but if he does not be careful about it, he could end up throwing himself right into the clutches of the Corrin. But it's actually totally the other way around. Shadic is the one that seems like is moving a little bit too fast and is getting eaten alive by SEBA's Roy right now.
Got caught on the platform, Shadic a couple times. He's going to finally drop a stock to Shadic here, but goes right back into it with the landing nair combo. Puts some damage back on Shadic on his last stock, and SEBA's applying the pressure consistently with Roy. This is kind of what I expected to see out of the Falcon potentially, is just that combo game that you're bringing to the table against Corrin, and the speed that you're able to bring to the neutral side of it.
And the speed of the match, too. I think that was a little under a minute and a half to finish up that game 2 to bring this to a 1-1. And I think the thought process behind bringing the Roy versus the Falcon is that I think against a sortie like Corrin, as Falcon, you have to wait for them to open themselves up. They have to be the one that swings first. That's sort of how you play Falcon, is you just wait for your opening and then you're fast enough to strike before they can react and course correct. Whereas with Roy, you do have enough of a sword and tons of aerial movement that you can actually press the advantage first.
Definitely true, and SEBA looked like he wanted to be the aggressor that whole time, so definitely enjoying what we're seeing here. The ability, I love the PS2 pick as well, because just even with the movement removed on like FD or whatever, I kind of shocked we didn't see Town, but PS2, just to prove that you can do it on that same stage you lost on, definitely good enough.
I think that Roy's just phenomenal on PS2 as well, though, just because he will so often carry you over to the ledge before he gets those mostly horizontal kills. Whereas, you know, Corrin doesn't get the chance to do that. Her combo game is more vertical anyways. And PS2's blast zones, even though they're large as a whole, PS2 as a stage is also very large, very long. And therefore, those blast zones are actually relatively close to the ledges. And Roy gets to take advantage of that because he has the power to kill early, but he can also carry you over there, whereas Corrin cannot. And I think that's kind of why we're seeing the ban on Yoshi's as well, not only because Corrin performs so well on triplats, but you also have, you know, a pin potentially killing Tipper off stage at like 50%.
I wouldn't be shocked to see Battlefield here out of Shadic, maybe. Taking advantage of those triplats, like you were saying, are very good. Might be one of the best of the still available stages for Shadic. But I'm really curious what the stage pick will end up being, because I'm not sure what else is even open that I would love to see as Corrin against Roy.
I would expect to see Battlefield, but if we do go to Battlefield, I also would not be shocked to see SEBA switch back to the Cloud, because then those juggles become so potent, but we're actually back to Pokemon Stadium 2.
Honestly, we could see this whole set here, and I'd be happy.
Yeah, I think that, again, Corrin has, you know, their benefits on this stage. Obviously, Roy's are very clear, but once you get the Roy into the corner, if you're the one trapping him there, Corrin's not going to let you onto that platform. But, whoa, 51% right off the bat. Again, this raw damage from SEBA is crazy.
Good patience when he realized he grabbed the ledge second as well, and then back up, waiting for Shadic to spin a move too quickly. So he was able to get away from the ledge trap situation and throw himself out.
He's got jab to try and cover some quick burst movement in. Didn't find it. Immediately turned back around with that double-edged dance. And once again, the story of this is that, you know, we're going to see a sortie stick a sortie in the corner and then not let them out. But Shadic has got to be able to find a way to take some stage control, force SEBA into those corners.
There we go, getting caught on the platform with the dash attack, unfortunately. Still, though, eventually catches SEBA back on the ground with the pin. Kind of even up the percent, you know? Roy's sitting at 80, not quite death percent, unless you get something wild with Corrin, but it's climbing back up.
Yeah, boy, that up air was like almost enough to take it. It's such a good move even without power, but with the power that it has, it becomes one of the best up airs in the game. But you swing it too much, remember that it still has that end lag, folks. It is a move. So Punish comes out with that forward tilt from SEBA. Now pushing to the corner, this is where I want to see Shadic make the big plays, but aggressively off stage, barely able to hang on with that ledge trump.
Oh, that's not what you like to see.
No.
Ran up the input on stage. Must have been a misinput. Maybe he was trying to pin.
I would guess that it was probably a pin.
Doesn't quite catch it, and now because of this, look at the damage that's on here. Could go for a counter. Goes for just a down air even.
He wanted the stonks, and he's gonna find some perhaps. Shadic utilizing every last ounce of that recovery to make it back, but at 87%, he'll at least get the stock with that up throw, consistent as they come. Roy will haunt my nightmares today as we go on to the second stock.
Horrifying sound as he gets KO'd off the top, but
oh my goodness!
Almost killed. That move gets way stronger as you get close to the ledge, just naturally as any other move would, but I swear that move has some kind of suction when you get close to the ledges. Center stage is not quite as potent, so we're seeing survival out of Shadic, but for how much longer?
And this is what I'm talking about. As a stage, as a whole, blast zone to blast zone, and from center, very large ones, and it's tough to get the KOs, and so as long as Shadic is able to play center stage, he is able to mitigate a lot of that kill power, but the moment that you get close to those platforms, Roy is just as strong as he is anywhere else.
Loves to chase you down and throw out those big, strong brass knuckle brawling moves with that forward tilt.
Yeah, he might, I mean, he doesn't really have a sword as much as he has like a gauntlet maybe.
Definitely just, you know, some weights in the punching gloves.
Go back to punch out today, baby.
Oh yeah.
So 40% really quickly. The shield pressure with the jabs, it's not enough to face Shadic, able to get back to center stage, but giving up quite a bit of it just to try and land those backers. And SEBA once again is able to take advantage and start up a ledge trap. We've seen it all game.
Going real deep. Shadic does even up the stock count, only at 64. You know, that's not the worst place to be, but it's climbing back up. SEBA is not content to leave it there.
Yeah, it's a pretty big gap by SEBA to leave it open.
Wasn't quite able to seal that jab back here, but look at the percent still climbing on Shadic. Pretty much any one of Roy's tried and true trademark kill moves is going to take it at the ledge here.
Forward smash is tried and true as they come, but you're really just hoping for Shadic to drop that shield. And to a degree, I guess it makes sense because SEBA's found 2 stocks on Shadic just deciding to commit to an aerial and then leaving himself open to a forward tilt. But now, man, SEBA, he is sitting on his last leg, 75%. If he's at the ledge, this could be toast.
Weak back air means he's not going to seal it out there. Still not quite catching the neutral get up from Shadic, but this time dashing back the same way he got that second stock. Catches Shadic's movement with that forward tilt sliding back over.
That's all 3 stocks in that game were taken by SEBA putting on a lot of pressure in the early game in percents and making Shadic feel like he has got to preemptively swing at the Rory, which as a Corrin player, you sort of can do that, especially online where you're not going to be able to react to Roy's movement so well, you know? And in that situation, SEBA's found a way to take advantage of it and say, if I put on all of that pressure early in the stock, then once I can guarantee that he's at kill percent for this forward tilt, all I have to do is do a dash back, he'll commit to something, and then I slide right in. Again, all 3 times he took a stock in that game, it was with that forward tilt, using that strategy.
Now I'm interested to see what kind of stage are we just going to go right back to PS2, or does Shadic have a counter pick in mind? Is he really going to actually try to make something different? Because still close games and everything, but you know, something's got to change, and maybe it's the scenery.
I honestly think that the stage change is where Shadic needs to go with this. Not only just because he will go to Battlefield, as I would expect.
Like to see that.
I would think that, you know, despite the fact that the Roy has been so good from SEBA so far, I would think that you would go to the Cloud here, which on one hand is sort of Shadic's win condition, right? It seems that he's unequipped to fight the Roy right now. And he did well against the Cloud, but Cloud is so much better than Roy. Even though Roy is good on Battlefield, don't get me wrong, Cloud is that much better that you would consider the switch if you're SEBA here. And I'm only concerned that, you know, for SEBA's sake, if he's trying to close out the set right now, that is the win condition that allows Shadic to take this into a game 5 and really pile on the fatigue.
Or even the surprise game 4 Falcon pick on Battlefield.
You really wanted to pick Captain Falcon,
only because I've seen it from SEBA before, and this is one of very few matchups that I think is really interesting with that character. But either way, you know, Cloud I think would honestly be the smarter pick.
I mean, personally, I would never pick Falcon if my opponent is taking me to Battlefield as Corrin. I feel like that's just asking to get comboed big time, and it sounds like it's going to be the Rory again, so SEBA's going to stick it out with the one that is working at the moment, but we're going to have to see how he works on a stage where he does not get to control the space. This is a stage where now Shadic really has bubbles that are more effective as opposed to Roy's.
Definitely, especially because sitting on platforms is not as dangerous against Roy when you get those like tip up airs, you know? Don't get the nice meaty hitboxes that really lend yourself to big combos.
Oh my goodness, and the jab back air. Man, Jared just not able to close it out yet, but he's still got the ledge guard. And this entire situation, up until that down tilt to up air for Shadic, that whole thing was set up by Shadic missing one recovery on stage and then getting set up on a falling up air, but he's able to close out the first stock.
I'm amazed that he was able to from that distance center stage. Now, jab back here at the ledge, you definitely expect to see it at that percent, but from all the way across stage, Dragon Fang shot killing right there, even on Battlefield, definitely plays favorites on the sword characters.
Oh, there's the stomps and into the sour spot forward smash. It's still going to set up for a ledge guard from SEBA as he retreats back to under the platforms, and that gives Shadic the opening that he needs. But again, we're seeing 50-60% just off of being given one opening to either of these players, and it shows you the margin of error that you have to be able to play with.
Here we go and get that forward throw. Doesn't quite set up on the platform, but still is able to get the tech chase here. Now, SEBA, really, he's still playing with this corner beautifully when he's given the opportunity.
Very well spaced forwarder right there. Doesn't give SEBA any opportunity to get that big aerial drift started up. It is not great on the acceleration. And so therefore, opening comes for Shadic, and now catches him dropping the shield to once again take a small stock lead.
Small stock lead, but he's trying to build up the percent here. If he stays close to center stage, could avoid some of the... Oh, jeez Louise! Expecting to roll in.
You can see Shadic right now is doing anything but pressing the shield button. Yes. He is going to the air and saying, man, if you want to keep that pressure on, you're not going to find it on my shield.
And Iron Shield's going to punish that jab base in the wrong way. Going to get some pressure with the Dragon Fang shot, bring some room, but just meeting him halfway in the air with a back air, catching him trying to jump over the plat, and SEBA at 69% might be able to bring this comeback.
Again, we've seen the damage output from the Roy, but It's so hard to get anything started when your opponent does not need to play anywhere near the ground and can just stick on those platforms. Try to get a tech chase onto it with that pin. I think that might have closed out the stock if it was a tip or two, but instead, SEBA's got an opening, and this could end up being that comeback that you were looking for.
Getting a little platform extension. You know, Roy doesn't get a lot of them on this stage, but that was a beautiful setup for him. Hilt. Up airs. Big damage. Avoids that forward smash setup.
Don't land on that platform. That's a danger zone. Oh, miss input right there from Shadic. Wanted the fall through forward air, and instead, again, just one mistake can open up everything in this match. SEBA's got this to kill percent.
Oh yeah, and doesn't quite find jab set up at the ledge or anything. Jab a little bit further away from the ledge back here is putting really terrifying percents on Shadic, but not quite gonna do it. Really has to find it.
Oh my goodness, you just ran right into it. He really did. I mean, he got caught in the movement, which is ironically, like you mentioned in that game 3, what he was taking advantage of so much. And in that moment, I think that SEBA was still looking for Shadic to commit to something and to come closer to him and was baiting him with that movement. But instead, it's the Dragon Fang shot. It's actually the projectile now that has closed out both games.
Yeah.
You know, that has gotten that setup for Shadic. So 2-2 at this point, based on, again, these games are being decided by very small mistakes.
Really thin.
Yeah.
Really thin. And I'm really interested to see what stages now get banned from Shadic, what kind of we go into for the final game. Town and City definitely gone, Smashville definitely gone, and going right back to Pokemon Stadium 2. It's a stage, again, works great for Roy. I don't blame them for going here. Maybe, you know, if FD's open, I maybe would have liked to see that, but PS2 is still such a good stage. The Blast Zones, I feel like, are more beneficial for Roy here, so. And it's worked out for you so well so far. No reason not to run it right back.
And I think that's one of those situations that we talk about a lot, right? Where it comes down to the confidence in yourself and the ability to just play the way that you need to play to get the win. And if anything, SEBA's like, all right, I've gotten a 2 stock in a solid game here on Pokemon Stadium 2, and I don't think I need to change anything up. You know, if SEBA goes back to Pokemon Stadium 2, I think that if anything, that will be the most reassuring mindset that he can give himself.
We're gonna see where that carries him in this game. Who's gonna be able to go and basically press go from the start and begin the momentum swing. Because a lot of the game has really been determined by who's able to get that first string, who's able to carry that lead. Going into the rest of it, who's able to, because if SEBA goes through and is able to get a lot of damage, he's able to threaten with his movement a lot better than Corrin will. But if Corrin's able to take that first lead, suddenly the movement is a lot less threatening, because who cares if you're dancing around the stage if you're not anywhere near me? I don't have to chase if I've got that percent lead.
So, Game 5 getting started. This is going to be the last game of this set. We've seen a couple of Game 5s already, 2 consecutive here in the losers bracket, and this one is sure shaping up to be another really good one that I would bet would go down to last stock, because Shadic has made some good changes, in that Game 4, probably boosted that confidence a lot, and to be able to play the way that he wants to. And already you can see that he is just dancing around that platform and saying, hey, if you want to play anywhere near the ledges and try and ensure that kill on me, you're going to have to get me off of this platform. But to SEBA's credit, he has answered that call very well.
Yeah, barely able to retreat to that platform. Again, these platforms are actually kind of nice for SEBA to escape some kind of situations. Down throw is going to maybe set something up. Nair fights the way out, but the trade is, I think, a lot better for SEBA in that situation. Still has a ledge trap opportunity.
Oh, double-edged dance at center stage again, though, like you're talking about. That move is all about that base.
Yeah, it doesn't have that suction coming in from the sides. Ooh, interesting recovery from SEBA. Love to see it.
I like that a lot, too, just because that'll get him to that ledge very quickly. He knows that he is not going to have that ledge grab invincibility, so he needs to take advantage of whatever time Shadic needs to process that.
Now, gonna have to fight through the pin to make it back. Oh,
twice!
Barely.
That right there, all of that was those 2 players betting on... I'm sorry, he got stuck in that way longer than I felt like he had any right to be stuck in that.
Extra charge on that one.
Either way, Roy was like, I'm gonna take a second, just to think about it. But that was a situation coming off the ledge where both of the players kind of didn't know who was going to get trumped, so they both just tried to get back on stage, and Shadic was the one that came out on top. And Yeah, 151%, this definitely only takes another one of those sliding forward tilts that we saw in that game 3, but so far Shadic's been doing a much better job of controlling the ground and not opening himself up to any of that.
Ground again. Whoever has the lead really gets to set the pace. Dash attack is
Great
barely
DI,
gonna do it.
wow.
Again, across the stage, Roy's kill power is super limited.
I just shocked by Shadic's DI. That was straight to the corner on a move that you should never really even be ready to DI for, if I'm going to be honest.
Expecting that one. Yeah, but now, I mean, we're getting close to percents where Roy might just kill with an up throw or just straight up nair. Sure, why not? Let's do it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one too much, but
every once in a while, it gets the job done.
If it works, man. And so far, SEBA's having to pull out every tool that he's got, because he is down by a quite hefty amount of percent, and putting this Corrin in the corner is the only thing that he can do to make this back.
There we go, does find a grab, gets a little bit off the platform, double forward air for 50%. Nothing wild, but he barely doesn't chase that roll on now. All of the stage back to Shadic. Still fighting out of the corner.
Ooh, the spot dodge. I can't believe that SEBA was actually able to air dodge out of that too. Anything else and he would be dead, but it's jumping into that charged forward smash to do it. Shadic's got quite a lead to play with now.
Does get a juggle of his own though now, SEBA, putting on damage, doesn't, again, gets to the platform and he catches an air dodge into the forward smash. That's a classic at like 60%. Shadic's down. You saw him wait for just a second to say, all right, that was not something I wanted to see, so I gotta recollect.
Boy. Now that SEBA's opened up that can of comeback factor, this is anybody's game, and in fact, he's playing with a lead at this point, with the Corrin trapped in the corner, no less.
And when you're in Shadic's position, you get hit by that kind of move after you've been playing so solid with a lead throughout this whole game. I feel like that's when the tilt factor comes through. You really got to fight that tilt.
Speaking of the tilts, though, they've been working out great for Shadic so far. Down tilt and forward tilt have been opening up a whole lot of opportunities for him, and I'm hoping that as good as he's been controlling the ground game, if he wants to make that comeback like we saw there with that forward tilt, he's going to have to utilize a lot of it to slow down SEBA's approach game.
There we go, SEBA really doing a great job. The stage control has most consistently been SEBA's. I feel like Shadic's had a good hold of being able to avoid SEBA's movement. That's going to do it. That's going to catch him through the shield. If you hold that forward smash charge, unless you have like a frame 3 invincible escape option, that's going to catch you.
And Roy does not have one of those. So Shadic, man, getting right up close and pulling the trigger on a guaranteed win condition as long as that shield comes up, and it does. So he pokes on through, and he gets the win with that forward smash to move on to losers quarters. The 3-2 over SEBA that had to require a comeback. He was down 3-1, or 2-1 rather, and had to make that comeback. And to be able to have that fortitude, again, like I was saying, the change of scenery was necessary. I think that he still could do it on PS2,